Okay, so we just got through listening to the story, The House That Jane Built Again. So now we're going to flip to a clean page in our notebooks, reading notebooks. Okay, so we did flashbacks yesterday. So today we're going to look at what it means to use text evidence. We've done this before. So we have two things we're going to glue in. Those of you at home, you can just jot down a couple of notes about text evidence starters, because that's new. We have not added that. Okay? So first thing, text evidence has to do with providing support for why you think people are that way. Okay? So if we read this, it says, in order to discuss Jane Addams' character traits, we have to use evidence from the text to support our statements. We have inferred many things about her as a person by what the author showed us, but it is important to be able to analyze our inferences and defend them. Okay? So by defend them, that means you give support from the text. So examples from the book or the story that support why you think she is that way. Okay? Okay, so the other thing that we were adding to our journal was text evidence starters. Starters mean how you can start your sentence when you're describing or giving the evidence. Okay? From what I read, I know she's brave because she did blah, blah, blah. Okay? So you fill in with your support. Okay? I was able to infer because I was able to infer what? I was able to infer that she was kind because she helped kids in need or people in need. Okay? The author showed us, and then give your example. I noticed that, and then finish that sentence. This reminded me of blank, so I know blank. Okay? In the beginning, she was very curious about the poor, right? She wanted to help the poor. According to the text, so according to the book, she was blank. So we'll fill in the blank. So these are just starters to help you write your sentences. For instance, the illustration shows, and that will help you start your writing when you're giving evidence. Okay? Where else have we heard the word evidence? Where have you heard it outside of school, maybe? Kelsey?
On movies.
On movies. So usually when it's talking about evidence, it's talking about what? Like an FBI or cop or court? On a game? So when you're talking about evidence with cops and robbers, what does that mean? You got to find evidence to prove that they're guilty or innocent, okay? Okay, it's the same thing. Your evidence has to prove what you believe. If you believe she's mean, then your evidence needs to prove that she's mean. Okay, was there anything in there that proved she was mean?
No.
No, so you have no evidence. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on now. We're going to flip to where it says character trait number 1. So what is a character trait that could describe Jane Addams?
She's a nice person.
Okay, nice. Can we think of a better word for nice?
She's not angry.
Kind.
Respectful.
Generous is a good one. Okay, generous means you're very giving. You give your time, you give your maybe your things, you pass them down to people that need them.
Helpful.
Helpful. Okay? But that's just a character trait. We need to provide evidence. So what is a piece of information from the book that proved Jane was kind or generous? Kelsey?
It said it.
But what specifically did it say or did she do that helped us believe she was generous?
Built some tubs or whatever they call it.
What's one thing, Evangeline?
She built a playground.
She built a playground for the community, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? David?
She built the outhouse.
She built the outhouse. Allie?
She
She made a public bath. Good.
Not sick.
So they wouldn't get sick, good, because she knew they were dirty and didn't want them to get sick if they were unclean.
An outhouse is like a restroom.
Outhouse is an outdoor restroom. Okay, Tavea?
When people did something bad, she wouldn't be mad.
When people did something bad, she wouldn't be mad, like the robber, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pick one example. Let's say she built a park for the community, right? Or she had a park built. For the community. How do you spell what? Respectful. We're doing the same things for now. I'm gonna get y'all started, then y'all are gonna come up with the last two on your own. Okay? I would say, to go along with what Javea said about when people were bad, she didn't get mad at them. So back to the story, what was something somebody did that was bad that she didn't get mad at them for? Jalen?
One kid broke a window.
A kid broke a window and she didn't get mad. What'd she do? She thought, they just need something to do. They have nothing to do. Okay? What else, David?
She stopped the man from jumping out the window and showed him the door.
Good. There was a robber in her house trying to steal stuff, and instead of saying, "Shoo, you get out of here," turning him into the cops,
And
she showed him the door so he wouldn't get hurt, and she told him to come back so she could what? Give him a job. Okay? What would be a good word to describe a person like that?
kind.
Okay, we've already said kind. Now think of something else.
Generous.
We already said generous.
Helpful.
Usually when you think deeper into what people are feeling or thinking or their situation they're going through, we call that compassion. Okay? So we could say a good word to describe her is compassionate. Okay? It's a long word. So COMPASSIONATE. Compassionate.
Wait. Can you spell that?
COMPASSIONATE. Okay? So we need to pick the text evidence we want to write underneath that showed us she was compassionate. Okay? Compassionate means you are understanding of other people's feelings and what they're going through. Okay? She didn't get mad at the robber because she wanted to know, okay, why is he doing this? He's doing this because he needs it. Okay? He probably wouldn't be robbing my house if he had money or a job, right? So she was understanding and gave him a job. So what do we want to put under here? Javea? Sympathetic? Very good. So we could say sympathetic. Sympathy is the feeling. Sympathetic means you understand what somebody's going through. Very good. So you could do that on a different one, Javea, and then come up with your evidence. Okay? But this is the last one we'll do together. So for compassionate, we could do she did not get mad at the robber but gave him a job instead. Okay? Now, once you get that written down, I'm going to give you guys a minute or two. I'm going to pause the video. You guys are going to come up with 2 more character traits for Jane. And they can't just be like synonyms for kind or nice. You have to come up with something else to describe her. Think back to when she was a kid, too. They said several traits from when she was a kid that you could use evidence for, too. Okay? So for the next minute or two, you're going to come up with 2 more traits to describe Jane. Underneath the flap, I want you to write the evidence from the story. Okay? Okay, so who wants to share their last 2 traits? Kaylee, go ahead.
I said helpful. She helped the kids when they had no food, clothes, food.
Okay, hold on. Let me repeat that. So those at home, if y'all didn't hear her, she said helpful because she helped the kids at home who didn't have any clothes, shoes, or food. Okay? Is that what you said? Okay, or a job. Very good. Okay, one more character trait. Javea?
Grateful.
Grateful. Okay, so what evidence did you put with that? Yeah, you didn't get there yet? Okay, Allie, what did you put?
For the last one, I put it, since she did soulful, I'll do, like joy, I did joyful.
Joyful. Okay, how is she joyful?
She was happy to see happy faces that she loved to see.
Okay, she was happy to see happy faces. Okay, we could be a little bit better than that about finding evidence to support that. Okay, that kind of sounds made up. What did she specifically do? She was happy to see faces, but when was she happy to see faces?
When she made everyone happy.
When she made everyone happy by
Giving them food.
helping them. So would inspiring be a good word to describe her? Does she inspire you to want to be a better person?
No.
Yeah, so you can say inspiring. She's inspiring because of all of the wonderful things she did to help others. She lived in the poor neighborhoods when she was wealthy and could have lived in a very nice neighborhood, right? She was inspiring to lots of people. Okay? So that's all we're going to do today for text evidence. The next thing we're going to talk about is theme. Okay? So we'll talk about theme a little bit. So you're still going to need your journals out and flip to a clean page.
What journal?
And so we're going to talk about theme. We've seen some questions about theme before. So those of you at home, you're going to turn to a new page and just put theme at the top. We're still in the same journal, reading notebook. So all you need to do is flip to the next page. And we're going to put this